Welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to the Shut-In Chronicles. My name is Mary. The purpose of this video is to dip into my stash and put together the fullest face possible of my Tom Ford products. So I did have a good handful to select from, including a bronzer, one of my Holy Grail foundations, and if you're interested to see how I threw together this look with one of his quads, then I hope you consider sticking around. I hope to keep this one under right around 15 minutes, just a way of checking in with you guys on a more consistent schedule as we all shelter in place and deal with the demons in our minds and the anxieties of living in unprecedented times. Let's jump right into it. I'm hoping the light here is better than it was yesterday. I feel like I'm chasing light. It's nice and bright on my face anyway. It is a little blown out and dark in the background. This will be a full look as much as possible using Tom Ford, starting with my Traceless Stick Foundation in the shade 1.5. Just going to, oh, it feels good. I've always enjoyed this foundation. Completely my Holy Grail cream foundation. Really good color match. Applies nicely with a beauty blender or with a brush. This is a Chikuhodo face brush. I'll give you the number down below, since I can't read this tiny gold number on the handle. It is a natural hair brush. I think I'll use this as my concealer as well. Need a little more coverage on my red nose. It does build up nicely. Doing a mixture of stippling and swiping. The view behind the camera is of my backyard, and the dogwood is gorgeous. And I can usually look straight out that way and see in my neighbor's backyard 3 or 4 deer laying down, chewing their cud. I love the finish of this foundation. It's super natural, skin-like finish. I'm going to tap some under my eye to serve as concealer. Just in the corner, nothing too crazy. I do have a lot of darkness. My dog isn't really sleeping through the night. He's aging. He is, as near as we can tell, he has arthritis, probably in the knees, and tends to lick his knees during the night. And of course he's sleeping in bed with us, so there is that. I'm going to set that concealer. I wear glasses, so I need a little more coverage right here on the bridge of my nose. Although as soon as I put my glasses on again, that will wear off. Pretty. I always feel good wearing that foundation. I do not have a Tom Ford powder, and I have so many powders in my stash that I don't intend to purchase one. I will just dip into my Chantecaille finishing powder to set my under eye. Picking that up with my Sonia G Face One brush and just setting the outside of my face and my T-zone and maybe my pores. Okay, I'll set everything just as a way of playing with my new powder. Although that did mattify quite a bit, I think that it's not a completely flat finish from this Chantecaille powder. Okay, bronzer. For bronzer, I'll go in with my Tom Ford Glow Bronzer in the shade Golden Sun. which is one of my warmer bronzers. I'm going to use my Sonia G. That picked up a lot, so I'm tapping a little off onto my arm. Glowy, glowy, glowy. Very pigmented bronzer. On the warmer side. Very sun-kissed. And I'm taking that down my neck. And across the bridge of my nose, and why not also in my crease. Going for a glowy bronzy look. That you can definitely tell how warm that is when it's used on the eyelid. It does give breadth to my bronzer stash because, as you'll see when I do my bronzer stash inventory, tell me if this sounds like you, but when I typically hoard and add to my stash, tend to hit the same color family. So this does give me a range that I would not have otherwise. Let's do eyes before cheeks. I'm going to use my Nude Dip, Tom Ford Quad Nude Dip. This is a lovely, lovely palette. I'm going to swatch all 4 colors for you. It is the wet dry formula. Tom Ford crease brush. Let's go in with this. Going in with this color right here, which is this. I don't even know how to describe that. It reads as a pinky champagne in the pan, but has more of a light bronze effect on the skin. Just going to go all over my lid with that. Has a sheeny finish, but does not seem chunky micro glittery. I'm going to take this shade, which is a taupey shade on the flesh, and deepen the outer corner. I think that one does a better job neutralizing some of the orange from that bronzer without obliterating it. And I'm liking that warm, cool shift. The difference between the warm bronzer and the cooler taupey outer corner. I do not have any eyeliners from Tom Ford. I would like something neutral in my eye there. I suppose what I'll do is I'll just use my Charlotte Tilbury, the one pencil in Audrey. It is a warmish brown. Just going to tight line in my waterline. Come about halfway over. Don't worry, I'm going to blend that out with some of this, that first shade that I used. For cheek products, I do have one of these glow stick from Tom Ford in Mageve. And this will be both my blush and highlighter. I'm going to use a little e.l.f. stippling brush to tap and blend that into my cheek. I'm trying to be braver with blush without looking like I'm in the 80s. And I will tap some of that onto my eye. Just to tie things together. And we need a good blend up there. People raved about these sticks. I will add my voice to those who rave about it. This bronzy highlight is fun. Seems quite deep for my skin, but somehow it works. It's just a little glow. And I will tap that in with the same brush, stippler brush. I don't have any Tom Ford finishing powder, and I may use a finishing powder. What do you think? Let me do my brows and eyes. I'll come back and we'll decide on a lip product. I do have 4 of his lipsticks. Wild Ginger, Naked Coral, Devore, and Indian Rose. And in his gloss, I have the shade 09 Aura. Okay, so in order, Naked Coral, Wild Ginger, Devore, Indian Rose, and the gloss in the shade 08 Aura. And I have a little sample size in some kind of hot pink, which I cannot read. There we go. As much as possible, full face of Tom Ford. This is the sort of luxe product that surely there are dupes for. The lip gloss, the lipsticks, at least in my experience, are truly one of a kind. Undupable. Not saying there aren't other luxury lipsticks of this or a higher quality, but I just love how these go on. Absolutely hug the lips, fully pigmented, one swipe lipsticks. I've never had any go bad, but I haven't had any in my stash long enough for them to go bad. This is Fergus. He wants me to open the door now, right there, to let him out, and he's got to wait. 2 seconds, honey baby. 2 seconds. 2 seconds. Give me a minute. So much for joining me on this deep dive into my Tom Ford stash. Let me know in the comments below what you're doing to look at your stash in new and inventive ways, and I'd be happy to pop on over and watch your content too. Have a great week. Ciao.